if you look at popular music, I mean, it is just saturated with one topic, love.
Absolutely. Our sources found that something like 9.6% of all Billboard Hot 100 #1s have love right there in the title.
But that clean, tidy version of romance, it's rarely the full picture, is it?
Not at all. The human heart is messy, it's complicated, and yeah, sometimes it's actively destructive.
So today, we're going deep. We're looking at the unconventional, the illicit, and the really nuanced side of intimacy. We're talking cheating, forbidden love, and non-monogamy in pop music.
And that's our mission, really. We're not just making a playlist of sad songs or revenge anthems.
Right.
We're using the lyrics and some external analysis to understand the emotional and, the sociological forces at play when relationships just defy those simple expectations.
Exploring how pop culture tries to categorize or even romanticize these messy human situations.
Exactly. Sometimes blinding us to what's really at stake.
Okay, so let's start at the sharpest edge of that mess.
Yeah.
Betrayal. With the songs that focus on the raw pain of being cheated on.
This is where the music gets so visceral. But what's really interesting is how quickly it can descend into self-blame.
You see that so clearly in Camila Cabello's song, I Have Questions. The narrator feels used like a fool, but then she starts blaming herself for her partner being broken. She's trying to fix the person who broke her.
It's that moment the victim internalizes the infidelity, and you see it even more clearly in You Ruined Me by the Veronicas.
Oh, that song is devastating.
It is, because it's not just about sadness. It describes a planned, calculated psychological destruction. It's all about how the cheater's actions stripped the narrator bare emotionally.
And this brings us to one of the most famous records about betrayal ever. Beyonce's Lemonade.
Of course.
In Love Drought. She has that line that's just, it's so heartbreaking. She sings, tell me, what did I do wrong? Oh, I already asked that. My bad.
That little phrase, my bad, it's everything. It shows that impulse to just crush your own pride to find an answer, even if it means blaming yourself.
It's a huge disempowerment, questioning your own worth instead of their actions.
Exactly.
But betrayal doesn't always lead to self-doubt. Sometimes that pain demands action. The fight back response.
Which is how we get these huge cultural touchstones for revenge.
Totally. You get the almost surgical physical revenge in Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats.
Right, the Louisville Slugger.
To the headlights. And carving her name into his leather seats. That detail just resonates.
And it did commercially, too. That was the first country song to sell over 2 million digital copies. It just tells you how much that fantasy of active payback connects with people.
And we can't forget the financial angle. Blue Cantrell's Hit 'Em Up style.
Oops, a classic.
It's all about women evening the score by taking the cheating man's money. And it even samples Frank Sinatra's Boys Night Out.
Which is such a fascinating choice, isn't it? It's like she's taking that old boys will be boys narrative and attaching a very modern, very real financial cost to it.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so we've covered the pain, the blame, the revenge. Let's shift focus to the affair partner, the other woman or man.
Right, we're moving into forbidden love. And music loves to romanticize this, but if you listen closely, the songs are still just filled with the heartache and anxiety of it all.
The classic example has to be Whitney Houston's Saving All My Love for You.
Oh, absolutely. A huge power ballad from 1985.
She details all these sacrifices for a man who belongs to someone else, but she's still holding out hope. She even says, no other woman is going to love you more.
It's pure passion over morality. Now, you can contrast that with, say, Luther Vandross's Your Secret Love.
So smooth, but so sad.
Exactly. It conveys that same longing, but he seems to know, intellectually, that this thing is never coming out of the shadows. It's more resigned.
And then there's the guilt. George Michael's Careless Whisper. That sax riff alone just screams regret.
It really does. And our sources say it was inspired by his own teenage experience two-timing someone. The guilt was overwhelming.
So how is that perspective evolving now?
Well, look at SCA's The Weeknd. It's a platinum track where the narrator just knowingly accepts her role. She literally compares herself to The Weeknd, the temporary escape.
And those lyrics are so self-aware. The feeling is reckless of knowing it's selfish, knowing I'm desperate.
It's incredibly lucid, and it even got a direct response. The rapper Whale did a remix from the male cheater's perspective.
What did he have to say for himself?
He admits to it all, but then he starts questioning his own motives, rapping something like, maybe cheaters are sociopaths.
But if he's rapping about maybe being a sociopath, isn't that just a convenient way to avoid taking real responsibility? He's just pathologizing his own actions.
That's a really important question. Is it genuine self-criticism, or is he just using a serious term to excuse bad behavior? I think the song leaves it open, but it shows you the mental gymnastics involved.
Right. Okay, so we've seen betrayal and secrecy, but what about when these arrangements aren't secret at all? Let's pivot to acknowledge non-monogamy.
This moves us away from deceit and into something more about structural complexity. The rules are different, but there are rules.
Prince gave us a classic example way back in 1980 with When You Were Mine.
People think it's just a breakup song.
But the lyrics are so explicit. I let you sleep in between me and him. It's an agreed upon arrangement.
Which was incredibly progressive for 1980. It's a world away from the turmoil of secret cheating.
And then you have the mainstream threesome anthem, Britney Spears' song 3.
It went straight to number 1, brought the whole topic right into the pop stratosphere.
It's all auto-tuned and these abstract lyrics like Peter, Paul, and Mary getting down with 3P. It just, normalizes it through sheer visibility.
It makes it appealing, or at least acceptable. And you see that elsewhere too. There's a French song by Stereo Total, L'amour à toi.
Love for 3.
Yep, and the lyrics are so blunt. I love three-way love. It's a declaration. It brings the whole experience out of the shadows.
It's interesting how these themes can intersect with identity too. Like in the analysis of Panic, at the disco's girls, girls, boys.
Right, the interpretation there is that the female interest is queer and is dating a man either to hide it or maybe to avoid having to choose between genders.
So the non-monogamous structure lets her embody her full sexuality.
Exactly. But we also have to talk about the gray areas, the messy middle ground.
What do you mean?
Well, think about Tovlo's track, She Don't Know But She Knows.
That title alone is a lot to unpack.
It is. It's about infidelity where the official partner is sort of in denial, but the mistress knows that the partner knows. It's not secret, but it's not acknowledged either.
So it's complicated by willful blindness.
Precisely. And the mistress is trapped in this structure that the man maintains through his partner's refusal to see the truth.
Okay, so we've gone from the anger of a betrayal to the structural acceptance of polyamory. What does it all mean when you zoom out?
This is the core of our deep dive. The chaos we hear in the music, self-blame, the longing. It's often reinforced by our cultural narratives.
Especially for the single woman in an affair.
Our sources point to these profound, disempowering consequences. And it all centers around this concept of false hope.
Tell me more about that. How does that false hope work?
Well, affairs are often described as a surreal bonus round. They offer this escape, this intense emotion without all the boring day-to-day stuff.
The logistics of a real relationship.
Right. So the single woman, she knows intellectually he's probably never going to leave his partner, but she indulges in this illusion of a happy ending.
And what's the cost of maintaining that illusion?
It's enormous emotional work. She takes on the job of being radically self-sufficient, of being not needy.
To prove she's the better lower maintenance option.
Exactly. But in doing so, she gives up everything that makes a relationship real.
Birthdays, holidays.
Or support during a crisis. There's this heartbreaking story in our source material. The single woman broke her foot while traveling. The man, who's with his partner, offered her money instead of, being there.
Wow.
And her expected response, which she gave, was, "Don't worry about it, I'm fine."
It's just so disempowering. It sounds like she's buying into a conditional service.
And that leads directly to this idea of love for hire. Our sources argue that consumer culture is a huge factor here. It encourages a constant search for newness, kicks, and experimentation.
This idea that monogamy is boring and forever is overrated.
You got it. So the market sort of motivates some men to outsource specific functions of a relationship.
Viewing partners as replaceable products.
The research even cites a car rental poster that says it all. You can't buy happiness, but you can rent it.
So that pressure to find the newest, best thing applies to relationships too.
Absolutely. And it inevitably drives competition between women, the betrayed partner versus the mistress.
Which leads to what you call depersonalization.
It's a cycle where both women feel this constant burden to better herself. Diet, cosmetics, whatever, believing these superficial changes could fix the relationship.
So the focus shifts from fixing the infidelity to fixing the self.
That's it. The mistress, even with a cast on her foot, is thinking, if only I were 20 pounds thinner, he would have left his wife. It's just psychologically easier than accepting the reality of the structure you're in.
It really brings us full circle. It connects the raw pain in that Camila Cabello song to these huge sociological forces.
Yeah.
Pop music captures it all.
And the songs don't just reflect the emotion, they actively create it. There's this one last powerful anecdote about a woman having a painful conversation with her married lover in a city bar. The clock is literally ticking. He has to be home by 6.
A very high-stakes scene.
And as she's crying, Ionix's Beautiful Girl comes on with that Stay With Me line just amplifying her panic. Then it's The Cure's Friday, I'm in Love, then The Smiths.
Well, that is a brutal playlist.
She said it felt like it was crafted by Satan himself, a fantastic soundtrack for panic and fear. It shows how inseparable music is from these experiences.
It really does.
So, as you think about this deep dive about cheating and non-monogamy, consider this. How much of our own romantic life is a genuine search for connection? And how much is just influenced by the market's demand for novelty, for something new and better?
A provocative thought.
Think about that the next time you hear a song about a perfect but very temporary weekend.